बॉडी और मन दोनों एक दूसरे के साथ जुड़ी हुई चीज़ें हैं। हमारी बॉडी में जो कुछ चल रहा है मन के साथ इसकी बातें होती हैं, और मन कैसे हमारी बॉडी को एक संतुलन करता है, इसके बारे में बहुत सुंदर ये किताब लिखी गई डॉक्टर तरुण वासिल के द्वारा, माइंड बॉडी क्रॉस टॉक। इस बुक में इन सभी बातों पर चर्चा की गई है कि किस तरह से हमारी बॉडी में जो डिजीज़ होती हैं, बीमारियां रहती हैं, उनको एक कैसे एक मन के द्वारा ठीक किया जाता है, और एक बॉडी भी जो है मन को किस तरह से मैसेज भेजती है, और उस मैसेज भेजने के बाद मन कैसे काम करता है, ये आप जानेंगे इस बुक के द्वारा। हमारी बॉडी में काफ़ी कुछ रहता है, काफ़ी कुछ चलता है, और इस सभी का लिंक हमारे माइंड के साथ जुड़ा रहता है। और इस सारे लिंक को कनेक्ट करने के लिए डॉक्टर तरुण वासिल, जिन्होंने अपनी प्रैक्टिस के दौरान ये महसूस किया कि हमारा माइंड और बॉडी आपस में बातें करते हैं, और किस तरह से इन बातों के बाद जो है उसका फल हमारे सामने आता है, इन सभी चीज़ों को उन्होंने डॉक्टर्स के साथ बैठ के डिस्कस किया, और उस डिस्कशन के बाद इस ऐसी बुक को तैयार किया गया जिसमें उन्होंने अपने एक्सपीरियंस को दर्ज किया, और इस बुक को पब्लिश किया, माइंड बॉडी क्रॉस टॉक।
I would request Dr. Tarun Wasil to please give us a little talk about the book he has written. So that was the proud thing for today's special meeting, that along with him being an excellent oncologist, an excellent friend, an excellent leader, he is also a great author. And he has written this excellent book, which we are going to learn about a little bit more, and then have some questions and answer asked. So let's welcome Dr. Tarun Wasil with a big round of applause.
Thanks to everyone, and I don't want to forget my family who has always supported me. And Seema is here. Everyone knows that I cannot do anything without her. We want to thank all our patients because what started me to write this book was my patients and some of the senior colleagues and the mentors. Several of them are here today, and thanks to their support as well as the encouragement, I was able to start writing a few words at a time. It took me about 5 years, but we must thank those patients and the investigators as well as the scientists who have put in so much effort in coming up with some of the answers which we look for on a day-to-day practice. And when I started doing this book, I used to write maybe one paragraph every month after reviewing about 10 or 12 articles. I was in solo practice at the time, and it was quite difficult to a task, but slowly and steadily then I thought that maybe I should put it in some format and try to publish a book, and finally it happened with all the support from my friends, my colleagues, and the family, obviously. I tried to make it as readable as possible so that the patients, the family members, and physicians alike, they can get some messages out of this book. I wanted it to be an interactive session. I'm lucky that several of our senior colleagues and mentors have read the book and given comments on that as well. So I'm going to invite Dr. Dattatreya Nori first, and he will say a few words on the book.
I know him as an outstanding oncologist and outstanding researcher. I didn't know he's also an outstanding author of books. The topic he has selected for the book, the mind-body interaction, a very, very important topic which as physicians we ignore it. I read the whole book. It has patient stories and very profound information for next generation of physicians. He's opening up a new field in medicine, mind-body interaction, A very critical subject, and I'll give you one example of why it is critical. When Bill Clinton gave okay for the genomic atlas, for the Human Genome Project, what came out of that is 99% of, we call this as the DNA base pairs. 99.9% of the DNA base pairs of the humanity are identical. That 0.1% makes you different from the guy sitting next to you. 0.1%. We didn't know that. So that 0.1% determines what type of progress you will have in your life, what type of cancer you may get at what age is determined by that 0.1%. So look at this genomic profile of individual is so critical. The next thing we learn in oncology is another profound information, the molecular profiling. One is the genomic profiling, the other one is the molecular profiling of the cancer. In the past, a couple of decades ago, if you see 100 patients with lung cancer or breast cancer, same age group, same stage, same treatment, we give same treatment, same mantra to all 100 because they have small lesion, no nodes, etc. Then we expect 100% cure in half of them because they started with early stage. It didn't happen. Only 75% are cured, so 25% are not cured. Why? We treated same tumor, same age group, same pathology, no nodes, everything is favorable. Then came the molecular profiling of the cancer. When we started doing the molecular profiling of the cancer, we came to know that certain profiles of the cancers will respond to certain chemotherapy. You cannot use the same mantra even though the lesions are very small in everybody. The third chapter, third scope of service Tarun is opening now. In addition to the genomic profiling, molecular profiling, there is neurobiological profiling, which we are just scratching the surface what mind-body interaction is. There are so many factors in our mind-body interaction that will influence the treatment. So this book illustrates all those points with patient stories. So I'm very, very happy to write a small two-page summary of the book, and it will have profound influence on the next generation of scientists to look into this third factor, which can make a difference in the treatment outcome. Thank you very much.
We think about whatever positive interactions or negative interactions we have between the mind and body. It can have effect on the telomeres, which are the ends of the chromosomes, and also it has effect on the pro-inflammatory genes as well as those genes which are involved in antibody formation, and it's all described in the book. But there is so much research that has been happening in this field, and again, thanks to those patients who are giving their samples and participating in studies, and the investigators as well as the scientists who are coming up with these new ideas to explain some of the unexplainables. So now I will have Dr. Praveen Singhal come here, and I have known him since 1999, 2000, and I've always been fascinated how he approaches his patients, and he will say a few words on the book.
I have privilege to read this book before its publication when Tarun sent me a copy of it. And importantly, one of my other friend, who's a neurologist in Jaipur, Ashok Pangadia, he wrote more or less similar type of book on different aspects about neurological patients. So I had an occasion to work a science called epigenetics, and as has been shown, that there was no difference. When genomic project was started, we thought, or most of the scientists thought, if mouse has a 20,000 genes, human must have at least 100,000 genes. But after completion of 10 years of genomic project, it was found out the number of genes is same. And even the genes are there, 80% part of that gene is non-coding, is not participating. Only 20% of the participating or coding part. And because genes were more or less same, it was the epigenetic environment which was changing their expression. So somebody is going towards a betterment versus worst aspect of it depend the net balance between the gene expression, good gene expression and bad gene expression. And there's the environment. And the physician is a part of the environment. Dr. Osler mentioned in his book that a doctor not only keeps the patient but keeps the whole family. The moment doctor arrives at home at that time, whole family used to get relieved, whether patient was better or not. So I think many of the diseases we can't cure, and we can make them better by creating a better environment, what Tarun has discussed many occasions in this book. So I really appreciate reading it, and you will also enjoy it.
So Tarun, you did a really great job, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading the book. I'm pediatric and I do mostly autism and learning, but there was so much to be learned from the chronic stress, because those parents deal with kids who are not normal and the stress levels are very high. So I picked up a lot of techniques that I could use to help them. So we are trained mostly in pediatric techniques, but I learned from your book to look at the parents, and I have sent them to the mind-body workshops, and Northwell actually has a lot of resources for adults which we never tapped into, but after reading your book I was very much impressed, and I could actually show them the data, because the parents are only concerned about their kid and they don't look after themselves, and then the whole equation falls apart. But it was such a practical thing, in addition to the academic knowledge and all the genetic stuff which I didn't know anything about. I
didn't know either.
I learned so much from you, but the patients respond very positively when I was able to show them that it actually changes their genetic structure, and it is worth it for them to put in the effort, and it will help their child. So I really want to congratulate you and thank you. The applications of this book are really, really massive. So it can be applied anywhere. So thank you.
Now I'll have Dr. Rajnaran to say a few words.
Thank you, Tarun. I wasn't planning to say anything, but certainly this is a wonderful opportunity to say to you in public, I couldn't think of a better person to have put together this book than Tarun. He's a kind and compassionate physician who is a great oncologist. And what separates good from great in this regard is going beyond the science and using the other things that you have talked about. And that's what makes a great physician. I mean, personally, and I'm sure this is true of all of you, I'm always looking to see, how do you become a better person? How do you become a better physician? And it's certainly a lifelong struggle for all of us. We keep trying to get better. And what your book has done is to show us some very clear science-based principles that can be applied. We all deal with patients where the science is no longer going to help. I mean, you've reached a point where all the known medications, all the known treatments have been exhausted. And then the patient and the family looks to you to say, what next, doctor? And it's a difficult point there, because, pardon the French, you don't want to give them bullshit, but at the same time, you don't want to kill hope. So you've got to be able to walk that fine line between despondency and encouragement without, I think that perhaps the critical point there is, if you use that post-science type approach, but you're doing it for personal profit, then I think that is bad, and you've got bad karma, and your genes are going to suffer for it. But if you're using it to help people without a sense of personal gain, then you will get the improvement in your personal well-being and certainly the patient's well-being. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dr. Rajesh Katani. He has been a strong supporter and a close friend and colleague. He read my book almost 4 weeks ago.
So I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate Tarun. I mean, I know a lot of hard work has gone into, and he did it quietly. We didn't know about it till a few months ago that this baby has already been conceived. So thank you. After hearing from all the luminaries, I really don't have much to add, but there is a lot more in the book. I request all of you to read it. And you know, the book is perfect in a sense that it has information and it has references. So it's not hocus pocus that he's talking. I don't know the word nocebo came around, but there is more information about it. So please read the book.
Thank you. Dr. Jagdish Gupta, actually he has been my mentor since 1995 and actually he was one of the encouragements for me because almost close to 100% of the people who have met him, not just patients, any person, he comforts them in a way no one else can do it that I have seen. And basically it's close to 100%. But he could not be here because his granddaughter's graduation. So I'll have one of my medical school colleagues, Parampreet Bakshi. She will say a few words and she has read the book.
I know Tarun from my medical college days back home, and all I remember about Tarun was a shy, quiet guy who wouldn't talk to girls and who would do surprisingly well on all the exams and any activities. And there was this guy, Tarun Wasil, standing apart, outshining everybody. But it's my good fortune and a blessing that I came to USA and I get to meet him and Seema. And I realized I would have missed having such wonderful people in my lives had I stayed back in India. So that's one of the reasons I like being in USA. About the book, we've all read books about algorithms and guidelines and then evidence-based medicine. And there are books about alternative medicine, complementary medicine, mindfulness, cognitive therapies and all, but they've all been like separated. So you read that and you read that and you make your own conclusions. This is one amalgamation of both perspectives that is tried to put into one book. So I think this will not only help us take care of our patients better, but I think this can be applied to our own lives as well. So I think in our day-to-day lives, on ourselves, our families, our children, I think it will make our life better if we know that the treatments and guidelines, they work on diseases and not people per se. So every person is different, and taking that into account, how mind affects everything, I think it's a wonderful book. And saying anything more than that has already been said will take away the essence and joy of reading the book. So I think you should all read the book as I did. Thank you.
So thank you. I would also like to call Dr. Smita Lora. I think she wrote about the book 4 or 5 weeks ago. So just a few words, Smita ji.
Whatever I want to say has been said already, but just to add, I was lucky to get this book a day before I was traveling to India, and on my way to India I read more than half of the book, just one lap, because it was so interesting. The best part was all these examples, of treating live patients, which I could easily relate to my day-to-day practice patients. I'm a primary care physician, and all these examples I could easily relate, and that really made my concentration just go on. So Dr. Wasil, congratulations. It's an excellent book, a must read.
Dr. Gilja will say a few words because he has read the book.
Actually, again, as Mr. Loda said, most of what I wanted to say has been said. I just finished reading the book. I really enjoyed it, I liked it more for one reason. What it says, the message, I practice in my life, all my life. I've always followed what will increase my stress, and I try to practice something will reduce my stress. And also, I've always felt the effect of positive thinking, and I personally do as much as I can. But after reading this book, I learned, of course, much more. Now I know the things which I was missing, where I can enhance those things for my own life, and I will really recommend everybody should to read this book and follow the message.
इस मौके पर आए हुए अलग अलग डॉक्टर्स ने अपने विचार दिए इस बुक के बारे में और डॉक्टर तरुण वासिल के बारे में।
So, ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ to celebrate launch of a book by my friend Dr. Tarun Wasil. Dr. Wasil ਜਲੰਧਰ ਦੇ ਰਹਿਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੋਂ hematology oncology ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਲੌਂਗ ਆਈਲੈਂਡ ਏਰੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ। He is an outstanding physician and an outstanding human being. ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ 'ਚ ਜ਼ਹਿਨ 'ਚ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਮਾਈਂਡ ਬੋਡੀ ਕਨੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਥਾਟ ਰੱਖੋਗੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਅੱਛਾ ਸੋਚੋਗੇ ਅੱਛਾ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਅੱਛੇ ਕਰਮ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੇ ਅੱਛਾ ਨਤੀਜਾ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ। ਉਹਦਾ ਸਾਇੰਟੀਫਿਕ ਪ੍ਰੂਫ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੈਕਚਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਲ ਦੀ ਚਿੰਤਾ ਨਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਦੇ ਅੱਛੇ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਬੋਲੀਏ ਤੇ ਉਹਦਾ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜੈਨੇਟਿਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਾਈਲ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਮੱਦੇ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਬੜੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਐਂਡ ਆਈ ਹੋਪ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਪੀਪਲ ਵਿਲ ਗੈਟ ਟੂ ਯੂਜ਼ ਇਟ and read it and follow it, especially my physician colleagues.
I've known Dr. Wasil for 30 years. Given the opportunity to sponsor this event today was easy for me. I have not read the book, but I will read the book this afternoon. He's a wonderful person, a caring person, and I thought today's event was fascinating, and I thank everybody.
Mind, Body and Crosstalk. I think it's a wonderful book. The reviews are great. Me and my wife are going to enjoy reading this book. This morning it was a wonderful ceremony. I think it just reflects the changes in the management of cancers, especially with the genomic involvement and some of the things that we still don't understand.
I request all the executive committee member and board of trustees.
I'm sure as time goes we'll learn more about it, and the entire philosophy has changed. As we call, there is a paradigm shift in the management of cancers with the involvement of the genomics and certain targeted therapies. I don't think we can forget about those, which has really changed the outlook towards cancer. Thank you very much.
The Mind Body Crosstalk, I'm definitely going to enjoy the book, but I have been reading about epigenetics and all this paradigm shift that my husband was talking about is very, very important to understand. So I'm sure this book will be a great read. Thank you so much.
It was excellent talk, and I think it would induce everybody to read the book and help patients.
Hi, मेरा नाम डॉक्टर बख्शी है। मैं डॉक्टर तरुण वासिल ਦੀ ਇਹ ਬੁੱਕ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ। ਡਾਕਟਰ ਤरुण ਵਾਸਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਮੈਡੀਕਲ ਕਾਲਜ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਣਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਐਨ ਐਕਸਲੈਂਟ ਓਨਕੋਲੋਜਿਸਟ ਪਰ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਐਨ ਸੁਪਰ ਐਕਸਲੈਂਟ ਆਥਰ। ਇਹ ਬੁੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਗਾਈਡਲਾਈਨਸ ਸਾਇੰਟੀਫਿਕ ਟਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਮੈਡੀਸਿਨਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਿਮਾਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਾਈਂਡ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਪੋਜ਼ੀਟਿਵ ਥਾਟਸ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਿਲੀਵਸ। ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸ ਬੁੱਕ 'ਚ ਦੱਸੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ। ਇਟਸ ਪਰਲਸ ਆਫ ਵਿਜ਼ਡਮਸ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੋ ਇਹ ਡਾਕਟਰਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਪੇਸ਼ੈਂਟਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਆਪਣੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਵੰਡਰਫੁਲ ਬੁੱਕ। ਇਟਸ ਅ ਜੋਏ ਟੂ ਰੀਡ ਦ ਬੁੱਕ ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਆਈ ਇੰਪਲੋਰ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਗੋ ਰੀਡ ਦ ਬੁੱਕ। ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੀ ਬੁੱਕ ਹੈ and it's amazing. ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਬਦਲੇਗੀ। Thank you very much.
I'm really honored to be part of this book signing ceremony done by a very versatile, a very good friend of mine, Dr. Tarun Wasil, who has been a president of RPQLI a year after I was. He has done remarkable work. We all know he's a very good oncologist, but he's a good human being too. He does a personal attachment with the patient and he keeps you up to date. With this book,
he has tried to prove a point ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਤਪੱਸਿਆ ਰੱਬ ਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਚੰਗੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ I strongly recommend people to read this book so that this guy gets more stimulated. So, and I wish all the spectators ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਰੇ Just Punjabi ਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੈ ਤੇ we want to thank Just Punjabi to honor this and come and utilize their services. Thank you very much.
I know Dr. Wasil for the last 12 years, and he has been a great friend, great family man, and a great physician. And we have referred him so many patients, and he's always done great justice, and very, very compassionate, and always calls back. And now we had the pleasure of coming here for his book, which I think he's done a great job. And he gave a great lecture also. And we wish him all the best, and hope everyone else will read this book and gain a lot of knowledge from this. Thank you.
I was very fascinated by listening to the extended comments from different physicians. Everything has been said, but very practical point I will touch. And the point is, we are a very busy physician. All the physicians are very, very busy. At the same time, because if you have to see 15 patients in 6-hour session, so there is only very little time to experience and make the patient experience a positive impact about the meditation, yoga, tai chi. So somebody has to demonstrate them. And between 25 minutes, in 25 minutes, you cannot practically explain the benefits and detail and the experience. The meditation, yoga, tai chi. So in my opinion, all the physicians have to learn to do the meditation, some yoga exercise, some tai chi exercise is very, very important. But at the same time, it comes down to the little dollar a cent and a time in the busy practice. So in 25 minutes, you have to give at the end of the examination, you have to give them a session of the meditation and a yoga class, which takes another 25 minutes. So it becomes a practical issue, and usually the insurance company don't pay for the extended visit for mind-body crosstalk or mind-body connection or yoga, which is a mind-body union. So I want to say, I'm going to read this book, very important, but I have been practicing, and I know Dr. Tarun Wasil since 1994 when we used to make rounds in LIJ hospital. Then, I became a very busy physician. He became very busy physician. He left the practice. I know him very well. He's a very, very hardworking physician who came down. I was so delighted to read his book. Thank you so much. I have all positive things to say about Dr. Tarun Wasil.
Big shout out to Dr. Tarun Wasil. Amazing book, Mind Body Crosstalk. I have read the book twice already, and the information is absolutely mind-boggling. And I'm looking forward to applying it to all my patients, my friends, and myself. It's really an excellent read. I could recommend it to anybody, and I'm looking forward to seeing a very good effect in my own life and also the lives of my patients. Thank you.
Today is a great event. My very dear friend, Dr. Tarun Wasil, did an excellent job creating this book, Mind Over Body, which basically is going to be very, very helpful in the future for coming physicians, as there is a lot more than just the medical aspect of it. And I would really appreciate all of you reading this book, and you'll get a lot of knowledge from it. This was a great event, and thank you all for going.
This book is a culmination of many years of effort on the part of Dr. Wasil, and it brings together the wisdom of the ages with modern medicine. And I think it's a tremendous contribution to our understanding of how the human body works. It's helpful not just for us as physicians in our treatment of patients, but it's also very helpful for ourselves, because there are many aspects of this and many pearls of wisdom in it that we can all apply to our own lives. So
Enjoy it.
Hi everybody, this is Sandhya Kauta. I am an internal medicine resident. I'm in the first year doing my residency at Bronx Care Health System, which is the Prior Bronx, Lebanon. I'm here to meet all the renowned doctors from India. I'm joined RPQLI last year. I'm so happy to be here, and I haven't read the book yet, but this is a very exciting book. It sounds so exciting, and I am interested in going into Hemong, so this is something I will definitely read. It makes a lot of sense to me about the medical conditions like cancer, which is an end-stage disease. Getting into the cross-body mind talk for these kind of diseases is very important. And I'm so happy to meet Dr. Tarun Wasil and all the renowned physicians from India. I'm looking forward to seeing them again. Thank you so much.
I'm Dr. Raj Bhrayani from RPQLI. I would like to first congratulate Dr. Tarun Wasil for writing this wonderful book. As we know, the traditional medicine is not enough to be healthy. And our Indians have always been forefront of healthy living by teaching yoga and meditation. However, in the Western world, this kind of education is required, and this is where the gap which is filled by Dr. Tarun Wasil is credible. And I think this book will be very important to help all the Western Americans and Indians in America to help generate enthusiasm and interest in mindfulness and healthy living. That's the next frontier of the medicine, and more work is required in this area. And Dr. Tarun Wasil, being pioneer and the leader of RPQLI, we congratulate him for doing this wonderful work and filling this gap which has been missing. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Jagdish Gupta. I am the Chairman Board of Trustees of RPQLI, as well as the President of the Kings County Medical Society at the present time. And I am here to comment about Dr. Tarun Wasil's book, which has been an excellent book. I've been in practice as a gastroenterologist for 45 years, and we used to talk about all these reaction of the positive thinking on the good health. And this book provides the scientific basis why those positive effects take place. So I want to just say one familiar adage that we cannot choose our family, means we cannot choose our genetic makeup, we cannot change it, but we can select good friends which can stay with our attitude being positive, and positive thinking, positive deed, dynamic personality lives longer and can have a healthy, productive life. Thank you.
Namaste, my name is Rajesh Kakani. I'm an ear, nose and throat doctor in Garden City, Long Island, New York. This is an amazing book. I want to congratulate Dr. Wasil for writing it, but more importantly, I want to thank him for writing it, because this will help us doctors take good care of our patients, combining modern Western medicine with the understanding of the influences of psychology and mind on the health of our patients. There's a lot of information, and any healthcare worker, anybody in the health field, I would strongly recommend consider reading this book. Thank you.
This is Tarun Wasil, and this is my better half, Seema Wasil. And I wrote this book taking into account my patients and the mentors who have been taking care of those patients. ये मैंने किताब जो लिखी है, इसमें काफ़ी मैसेजेस हैं, वो हम सब लोगों को, पेशेंट्स की फैमिली मेम्बर्स को, जितने भी हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल्स हैं, फिजिशियंस, नर्सेस, नर्स प्रैक्टिशनर्स, PAs, ये सब के लिए अच्छी किताब है. इसमें काफ़ी मैसेजेस हैं किस तरह से हमें रहना चाहिए, स्ट्रेस फ्री रहने के कौन कौन से तरीके हैं, और पॉजिटिव आउटकम के लिए हमें पॉजिटिव रहना बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो मैं सारे सपोर्टर्स जो आज आए थे इस किताब को प्रमोट करने के लिए, सबका बहुत बहुत दिल से आभारी हूँ और धन्यवाद करता हूँ सबको. आपने काफ़ी लोगों से सुना जिन लोगों ने इस किताब को पढ़ा है कि इससे काफ़ी मैसेज जो हैं कन्वे होते हैं और पेशेंट्स को और पेशेंट्स की फैमिली मेम्बर्स को इससे काफ़ी अच्छी तरह से ट्रीट करने का तरीका बताया गया है. So I'll stop here.
Go ahead.
Yes, hi, I'm Seema Wasil. So proud of Tarun taking so much time in the last few years doing this journey, getting this book out, getting his words out on paper. ये बुक हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए भी है बट आम लोगों के लिए भी है क्योंकि हम सबको स्ट्रेस मैनेज करने के लिए डिफरेंट तरीके यूज़ करने चाहिए. Stress is very, very important to manage in our lives. And I think कि ये बुक में काफ़ी सिंपल टेक्निक्स हैं जैसे हम अपने आप को हेल्प कर सकें एंड अपनी लाइफ थोड़ी स्ट्रेस फ्री कर सकें. सो आई होप एवरीबडी रीड्स द बुक. थैंक यू.
डॉक्टर साहब, आपने जो ये बुक लिखी माइंड बॉडी क्रॉस टॉक, इसके पीछे नाम के पीछे क्या राज है?
इसका यही है कि जो पेशेंट्स हम देखते हैं और जो फिजिशियंस पेशेंट्स को ट्रीट करते हैं उनका जो उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा होता है, परसेप्शन कैसी होती है, उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशन कैसी होती है, बिलीफ कैसा होता है, वो चीज़ें जो मुझे पज़ल कर रही थी काफ़ी सालों से. तो मैंने लिटरेचर सर्च करना शुरू किया तो मैंने काफ़ी जो आंसर्स थे उसके मिले मुझे. तो मैं सोच रहा था कि टाइटल इस चीज़ का क्या रखा जाए. तो बेसिकली मैंने ये देखा कि माइंड जो है बॉडी से टॉक करता है और बॉडी जो है वो माइंड से सॉर्ट ऑफ बातें करती है. तो इसलिए मैंने इसका नाम रखा माइंड बॉडी क्रॉस टॉक.
और डॉक्टर साहब, इस बुक को लिखने के पीछे क्या एक पर्पस रहा मन में?
पर्पस तो जैसे मैं मेडिसिन में अब मुझे 30 साल से ज़्यादा हो गए हैं. तो मैंने काफ़ी लोगों के साथ काम किया है, हज़ारों पेशेंट्स को देखा है. तो मैं कई बार काफ़ी मुझे असंभव जो काफ़ी पजलिंग हो जाता था कि मतलब कई पेशेंट्स जो हैं उनकी इतनी मुश्किल बीमारी में भी वो अच्छी तरह से अपने आप को कंट्रोल कर लेते थे और वो काफ़ी अच्छी तरह से रहते थे और उनकी लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी भी जो थी वो पहले से मतलब उनसे अच्छी रहती थी. तो मैंने इस चीज़ को देख के और डजन्स ऑफ पेशेंट्स को इस तरह से देखा तो मैंने सोचा कि कुछ ना कुछ इसके बारे में लिखना चाहिए ताकि बाकी पेशेंट्स को भी इसकी जो है मदद मिल सके.
और डॉक्टर साहब, इसको लिखने के पीछे कितना समय लग गया, कितना टाइम लगा इस बुक को लिखने के लिए?
मैंने ये 5 साल पहले शुरू किया था क्योंकि मैं सोलो प्रैक्टिस में काफ़ी बिज़ी होता था, सातों दिन काम करना और बीच में फिर टाइम निकाल के कुछ ना कुछ पढ़ना. तो करते करते फिर मैंने एक पैराग्राफ 1 महीने में लिखना शुरू किया था. तो उस समय तो मैं सिर्फ हैंड राइट करता था. तो कुछ 2 साल निकल गए तो फिर मैंने सोचा कि मैं टाइप करना शुरू कर देता हूँ. अगर किसी समय कोई मिला तो मैं एक छोटा सा आर्टिकल लिखूँगा. तो आर्टिकल करते करते फिर वो इतने पेजेस बन गए कि मैंने सोचा फिर ये तो बुक के काबिल है. तो मैंने बुक लिखनी शुरू की. बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम लग गया लेकिन 5 साल में पिछले 7-8 महीने से तो मैं बिल्कुल फ्रस्ट्रेट हो गया था कि मतलब ये हो नहीं रहा था काम. तो देन सीमा's डैड, माय फादर इन लॉ पुश्ड मी कि मतलब इतना अच्छा कुछ लिखा हुआ है तो इसको एक बार अच्छी तरह से कंपाइल करके और रिफ़्रेश करके तो दे दो मुझे. देन ही विल टेक केयर ऑफ़ इट एंड ही देन बेसिकली उन्होंने ही सब कुछ किया है. ये इंडिया में पब्लिश हुई है और 500 कॉपीज़ वो अपने आप लेके आए हैं एंड आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू हिम ऑल्सो कि उनके बिना मेरा ये संभव नहीं होना था.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sanjeev Singhal.
today I am so proud and so happy that a friend of mine, Dr. Tarun Wasil, has passed on a message to all of us in the form of this book, Mind, Body, and Crosstalk, with a strong message to all of his friends, including me, how to treat the patients beyond giving them just tablets and injections. So what a big moment for all of us. I know Tarun for the last about 42 years, going back to 1979, when we were both preparing to go into a med school. Now, at that time, I could see that I'm working with a person who is not only humble, polite, down-to-earth personality, but is also very focused, not only trying to be a good student at that time, but also a very religious tone to it, very disciplined. He will get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to have his small prayers, and he is busy preparing for his goals when all of us will be sleeping. I don't know whether he remembers it or not. So since then, I see his effort today coming out in the form of beyond the field of medicine. Not only that he's a wonderful doctor who treats my own family members who suffer from hematology or oncology related problems, but it makes me so proud and so happy about it. There's his all his work put together in the form of this book today, Mind, Body, and Crosstalk. And today, RPQLI has put up a function together to celebrate this and also to share our thoughts together. Tarun, thank you. Thanks a lot. We love you. Go for it.
I'm very happy to talk about the book Mind, Body, Crosstalk by Tarun Wasil, MD. This book is a wonderful addition to world literature on medicine on 3 grounds. Number one, patients, people who are suffering from diseases, they have an attitude of how can their thinking, their way of looking at diseases which are life-threatening or not life-threatening affect them, and they feel that if they would just gird themselves to be strong and positive, they can help cure the disease, whatever they are suffering from. And it is a very prevalent attitude. On the same point, there are people who have a negative attitude, who are always looking at the darker side of any issue. And they suffer a lot because of their own personality. The second audience for this important contribution to literature on not medicine only, but society, is to help doctors who are treating patients and trying to help them not only by prescribing medicine, but by their own attitude about the disease that they are treating, and that influences their way of approach, and that affects not only the patients but patients' families, which we do not normally recognize. And the third audience of this book is the society at large. All people who may or may not have any condition or disease at the moment, and they think that the problems arise to the next person, to their neighbors, to their friends and relatives, but they themselves feel somehow completely immune to problems, and until someday they fall prey and something happens. So that my point is that in these three categories, we are including essentially the entire world. And Dr. Wasil is a clinician and internist, takes care of cancer and other diseases, and has a very large family practice, and he provides not only excellent treatment and is world known for his expertise, and I think not only the readers in India but in America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, all the continents will benefit by reading this important short book, interesting book, and very educational and thought-provoking book. Thank you.
This is Tarun Wasil. I'm the author of this book, Mind Body Crosstalk. आप लोगों ने काफ़ी कुछ सुना होगा इस बुक के बारे में. काफ़ी लोगों ने बोला है. आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू ऑल ऑफ देम. Special thanks to Rakesh Bhardwaj. He's a pulmonologist and a very close friend of mine. I have known him since 1999. Dr. Jagdish Gupta, he's chair board of trustees with YUPP, and he has always supported us. And he was the one who orchestrated or started this program today. And Dr. Sanjeev Singhal, I have known him since 1978, I think. And we were actually in pre-university together. And in fact, a year before that, in 10th grade, we did a frog dissection together long time ago. And he was kind enough to give his support today. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. And I have Dr. Narayan Agarwal, whom मैं डॉक्टर अग्रवाल को तो मैं पिछले 10-12 साल से जानता हूँ, लेकिन कुछ लोगों का टाइम पीरियड से कोई ताल्लुक़ नहीं होता. द इम्प्रेशन एंड द पर्सनैलिटी दे हैव, और इम्प्रेशन जो छोड़ देते हैं वो 1 साल में भी उतना हो जाता है किसी समय जो 40 साल में होता है. So very, very thankful to YUPP, Shyamji, who was helpful in collecting all the checks for YUPP. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद UBS को, जिन्होंने ये स्पॉन्सर किया इवेंट. यूनियन फार्मेसी, उन्होंने भी स्पॉन्सर किया. मिंट रेस्टोरेंट, जिसकी वजह से हम सुबह 9 बजे संडे मॉर्निंग को यहाँ पे ब्रेकफास्ट खा पाए. एंड जस्ट पंजाबी, जिन लोगों ने इतनी मेहनत करके ये प्रोग्राम आपके लिए रखा है. सो मैं सबसे मेरा निवेदन है कि किताबें पढ़ें. ये किताब जो है वो पेशेंट्स के लिए भी है, पेशेंट्स के फैमिली मेम्बर्स के लिए भी है, हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए भी है, सब के लिए है. तो आम लोग भी इससे फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
डॉक्टर तरुण वासिल आने वाले समय में ऐसी और किताबें लिखेंगे और इंसानियत की सेवा करेंगे, ऐसी हम दुआ करते हैं. इसी दुआ के साथ आपसे इजाज़त चाहूँगा. नमस्कार.